The initial idea for Commsor was helping communities use data to prove the impact of their work. I'm really fascinated about this space. We chatted a lot with data scientists and measurement experts on attribution and MMM and incrementality. And you were kind of focused in this space for community managers. And I'm always having a struggle with measuring the ROI of marketing because of this black box of dark social, right? And community is a big piece of that. And I'm curious to get your take on this. Like you said that the quest for perfect attribution is completely false and it's a waste of time and money, but also that companies would be way better off spending a quarter of their time and budget on things that you will not be able to track. How were you able in the first early days to track the impact of a community and the folks that were participating in that community? Maybe just chat about that a little bit.
So yeah, first I wanted to say the quest for perfect attribution, as you quoted me there, is I'm not saying things shouldn't be attributable. I'm not saying we shouldn't measure things, but I think this goal of trying to be 100% measurable, one, that's impossible.
Yeah.
I just think it's just not possible. We are humans, right? There is stuff we're never going to be able to measure, right? You're never going to measure that someone talked about you in a Slack community that you don't have access to, right? It's just not going to happen. And I think a lot of teams miss out on really good marketing and sales ideas because they always start with how are we going to measure it? And if they can't answer that up front, they don't even bother trying. And sometimes the best things you can measure by and I know leaders are going to tell me that's not a valid answer. Sometimes you just know. You just know it works, right? How do I know the dinosaur brand works for us? Can I measure brand love? Yeah, I could probably hire some consultant to build some bullshit study to measure it for me. But you know what? I've never been on a podcast where it hasn't been brought up. So you know what? I know it works because people talk about it. They ask me about it. Sometimes you just know, and you have to be comfortable with that being the only thing you'll be able to measure. Specifically for community though, we measured a bunch of stuff. We measured community qualified leads. We'd measure someone joining our community and then becoming a lead and measuring that journey of they joined the community first. We had data that showed that people were 3 times more likely to buy if they had been engaged in our community in the 6 months before a sales conversation started versus if they just went straight to a sales conversation, which is why we also made our BDR outreach was get them in the community first. Don't try to sell them. Don't get a meeting. Get them engaged in the community, build the relationship. I can't remember the exact number, but our data was saying it was 75% of our revenue came from deals that were touched by our community in some way, shape, or form. People engaged in the community before they bought. They were better deals. They were faster deals. They were more likely to buy. And it just, so I think a lot of it is you're measuring the incrementality, right? It's is it better if someone engages with the community versus doesn't? Not trying to measure this absolute number of just the community drove $1 billion of revenue. Therefore, I'm glad we invested in it. It's you're really trying to measure are the numbers going up and in the right direction when this thing is involved? And as long as that's happening, keep doing it.